This is John Paul Rai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. This article here is from Sports Illustrated, and they seem to think that the NFL ratings aren't so bad. There's some reasons other than the political stuff and the kneeling that's really tampering with the ratings. It's called Fox has an NFL ratings problem, but it's not what you think. Train your thoughts. NFL ratings were all over the place in week 1 with Sunday afternoon doing big numbers while primetime games were down. And because we live in a deranged time where we are divided as ever, people now use NFL ratings as a political weapon. So why are we divided? Well, that's because some people think they should kneel at the anthem and that America is not a good place. Meanwhile, they're getting paid millions. I'm talking about the players who are kneeling. Okay, let's keep going. Of course, if you're rational, you understand that when ratings are down for something, especially sports, it's not because of one factor, it's because of multiple factors, of course. And yeah, I mean, that's not totally wrong, but I think we've got one special, unique factor in the game we've never ever had before. I mean, there might have been kneeling someplace throughout history, somewhere. I haven't seen every single game, but, you know, this situation on the whole is definitely unique. That leads us to Fox Sports Executive Vice President, Head of Strategy, Michael Mulvihill. Mulvihill shared some insight Thursday night into the NFL ratings game with a very good Twitter thread. Remember, very good. That's a very good word they used there. It's very good. So, Michael says, short thread on NFL Week 1 viewership as we await kickoff of Week 2. Then he says, what's the most obvious trend of the year in traditional TV viewing? Without a doubt, it's that cable news ratings are way up. Of course they are. From the start of the pandemic to 8:30 CNN was up 101%, FNC 42%, MSNBC 39%. Yeah, obviously there are people watching political stuff about what's going on in the world and the pandemic, but you would think that they would want to break from that when the football game comes on, because how much of the pandemic and political stuff can they watch until they really need a break? But when they got that break with the football game, looks like they were tuning out. Here's a look at how much cable news viewership was up during NFL windows last week. Thursday night, 2.5 mil. Sunday afternoon, 873K. Sunday night, 1.3 mil. Monday prime, 2.4 mil. Across the whole league, reach was down in 1 week, but average time spent viewing was up. What does that suggest? Casual viewers dropping out, leaving behind a more hardcore audience that watches more football per person. I mean, no shit, like the hardcore audience is gonna be, if anybody, the ones who sits through the kneeling, takes the shit, and keeps watching the game, and obviously the casual viewers are not going to take it. But the problem is that the hardcore viewers make up a lot less of the fan base, and the casual viewers make up the wide area of the fan base, and if you lose those casual viewers, then, you know, that's when the ratings go down. The percent of the Week 1 audience that was rich, poor, urban, suburban, rural, black, white, Hispanic, Eastern, Southern, Midwestern, they were all within 1 point of what they were a year ago. And that's the thing that some of these people miss, is that kneeling for the anthem doesn't mean that a certain color of skin or a certain race is going to tune out. It means whoever loves the country and considers himself an American is going to tune out. So people like Michael are saying, well, you know, look, all different races are tuning in at exactly the same rate, but he misses the fact that it's not about fucking race. It's about being patriotic and following tradition, basically. And those two things don't have a color of skin. That means all of this is completely useless to those pushing the narrative that the NFL is in trouble because of lower ratings. And by those, I mean Fox News people who work for Fox and the person in the White House who gets all his news and information from the cable news network. Because I guess, you know, the President of the United States only gets his news from one source and he ignores the rest. I guess that's what they're insinuating here. I doubt it. So you have one leg of the company explaining why the NFL ratings are still solid, while another leg wants you to believe the league is about to go out of business because players are speaking about social justice. Absolutely fucking false. If they were speaking about social justice, no one would care. That's their right. What they're doing is they're kneeling in the beginning of the game, which nobody wants to see. Some people find it disrespectful, and some people just click right off. that's what happens. So while this article thinks it's so smart and, they've got one up on everything, they're not actually confronting the issue of the kneeling. Speaking out about social justice is completely different than disrespecting the national anthem. If they spoke out at an interview, on a YouTube video, in a tweet, in an article, that's fine. People would watch the game. But if they're trying to watch the game and they're getting preached to, then that's a no-go. Think about the insanity of this situation. Here you have a top Fox Sports executive defending the NFL ratings while Fox News pushes the narrative that NFL ratings are in the tank. Talk about being divided. Well, we gotta remember who's doing the dividing. The players themselves are the ones dividing the fans by not standing for the national anthem. And the people who believe that you should kneel are also dividing us. Because before any of this happened, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever the fuck it was, nobody complained about standing for the national anthem. That's the norm. Together we stand, divided we fall. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below. I'm doing pop culture, depth versus herd, even some Star Wars, but I'm finding this news about the NFL and NBA pretty fascinating, so I'm following it. And why not? Mix it up a little bit. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you subscribe, I'll be pretty happy. If you don't subscribe, I guess I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.